hands to his blood, sweat, and tears. They work us to the damn bone.
Come and pay a visit for your last year. I'm truly up. Make a move unless we tune you up. Absolutely, man. We know you cause you ain't fooling us. With them bang bitches trying to cool it up.
This whole world was made for blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And the other nations know it. And because the other nations know it, they make sure to keep us underneath them. But for the fifth angel of the Lord, come upon you, black man, Native American Indian man, Hispanic man. You understand, man? It's about to get oppressive out here. You only have I know, man. You only have I know of all the families on the earth, man. Right? You only have I know, man. So therefore, he will punish us for all of our iniquities, which is our sins, man. Going out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of Jerry Hunt. We are not affiliated with any fake Israelite groups or anybody else. Today we're bringing out the truth of the Bible, that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
He gon' spot you, then get you. You don't speak about it, it's not an issue. This one West world got a ring to it. I married the truth, put a ring to it.
Yes, if I'm a prophet, I say absolutely. 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 And when I walk through the door, bitch, you best salute me. Best salute me. Absolutely. She asked if I'm a prophet, I say absolutely.
We gon' change the world, we won't let it change us. Even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it. They want a fame, they want a clout. That's why they doubt. I got them black, I want a class. And I shut my mouth. This was way before polite, before I came to campsites. I came broken and contrite. I just wanted to live right, clean my soul and give my life. Had to give up all my vice. I got a fog out my head. I was raised from the dead. I put down that weed and I cut off my dreads. For before I could lead, I had to learn to be led. Now I'm a bad motherfucker. Walk around and I straight flex on suckers. No one specific, I'm talking to all of you busters. Straight from the gutter, me and my brother, we the long supper. Now, running it like a conductor. Hebrew Academy, I'm the instructor. 14 written all on my cover. Men of war like we hopped out of Hummer. Look like you wanted my trooper could cut you. There is one camp, there is not another. One West, UPK. One West, UPK. One West, one West, one West, UPK. One what? UPK. One what? UPK. One what? One what? One what? UPK. Me and all of my Oyes, hold it, shit down, right here, all day. Shalom, wagwan, sa, passe, is we, damn niggas, jatu, sabe, hey. We gon' change the world, we won't let it change us. Even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it.
Shalom, shalom. You in live with the Israelite School UPK in Virginia, preaching Captain Dr. Zakir Shah in the Biblical Scripture Breakdown class. Y'all by Shemel Shah Barakatham. To the sisters, Yahweh Shamar Alathan by Shemel Shah here. All right, we should be good. So we're talking about who is the oppressor. Who is the oppressor? The oppressor, show comments. What is this? Oh, okay. Most High in Christ. All right. Who is the oppressor? By now, everybody should know who the oppressor is. It's been a long day, sis. The water, sis. It's been a long day. It's going to wild. It's going to wild. Most High in Christ. All right. Everybody at this juncture in time should all know who the devil is. You understand? Who is the oppressor? You actually know who the oppressor is. I'll go over a lot of important things about who the oppressor is. Why does it matter who the oppressor is? Like, why does it matter? It's very important to understand the spirit of our oppressor because as this empire falls, more and more, you are going to see the true spirit of our oppressor come out in a way that most of our people have not known. The last few generations, I'd say whoever was born probably in the late 80s, at that time, most of the issues that you would have seen or heard about growing up were issues that seemed like the problem was isolated just to the Black or Latino community. It didn't seem like these were issues that came from another nation. Came, we had terrible, terrible drug problems that were plaguing every single area of Black life. We had cities, you didn't get to see the face to face actions of our oppressors. You didn't get to see them. You didn't get to hear about them once the Civil Rights Act and bills got Black members of society were able to get their taste or their piece, so they thought of the American dream. And it seemed like this was something that was available and attainable to all Black people, to all Latinos, to all Native Americans. You can now vote. You got integrated schools. You are no longer, so it would seem, relegated or pushed off to the Black side of town. The places that the oppressor lived were now available for our people. But there was very skillful and crafty things that were done to make sure that our people did not look at our situation in America as though we were being oppressed. Government assistance came in, education and grants and things came in. And there was so much growth that was not marred in the news by uh, stories of things that were happening to Black people at the hands of white mobs and white society. That got pushed to the back burner. And what you ended up seeing was stories about how Black people were now treating each other the way that the oppressor treated us. Were being violent criminals to each other. Were exploiting and robbing and abusing each other the way that we had suffered centuries of abuse under our oppressor. There's a term Commander General Yohana teaches us in the UPK that's very important for all of our 12 tribes to learn, whether you are so-called Haitian, a Venezuelan, an El Salvadorian, a Mexican, a Cuban, a Puerto Rican, a native, a Seminole, American, if you are the Kawa, Comanche, or the Dene, all the different tribes and names of our Native American families, and all the names that our oppressor changed, all of the natives of North, South, and Central America, and the rest of our tribes who fled from our homeland in the Middle East and settled on the west coast of Africa until the Africans, the Arabs, and the devil, the oppressor of, until they rounded us up and sold us over in the transatlantic slave trade. For the most part, education about how our oppressor's life and what he has done has greatly impacted our world and society of what we see today as a people. The average Black person, Latino, or Native American, under, I would say, the age of 30, which is a whole nother generation, has not actually or adequately been taught about what the devil that the Bible speaks of, what the oppressor, the so called white man, has done to our people. His history, his spirit, and his records are contained in the Bible, and the Lord left us very detailed information, not only of what he did and how to navigate life, his oppressive rulership, which unfortunately many of our people are getting a crash course in something that the Christian church and preachers and religious leaders who all hold the Bible, like the Muslim imams and the Christian preachers, pastors, popes, bishop, those that call themselves ministers, reverends, people of the cloth, ministers of faith, they have failed to teach our people what is actually in the Bible. And they've left us greatly exposed spiritually, physically, educationally, economically, and every way possible to an enemy who has always despised us as a people. And it's very important for us to learn how to navigate being in his captivity, especially since we are coming to the end of America. The end of not just this empire here of the oppressor that rules over us in the so called United States, but the end of the white man ruling anywhere worldwide. In the book of outside of the ISUPK, nobody knows what's in the book of Revelation. Only break it down. In the book about the revealing of who Christ is, what he came to do, and what he is returning to accomplish. Subsequent wars that are coming with the return and leading up to and during the return of Christ. That the devil, the oppressor, and all of the people who sided with him and all of the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, it is time for him and all of the nations to pay for the crimes that they have done. All right. The water says, okay. Says the video is freezing. All right. All right. Let's take a moment. Let's do a check. It says it's freezing. All right. Okay, let's do a check. If you can hear me, give me a 12. You can hear me, give me a 12. All right. You can hear me clearly. You can hear this sentence. We're just going to do a test. Do a test. If you can hear me, if you can hear me, just give me a 12. Let's just take a minute. All right. When you said the video is freezing, is the audio freezing as well, or just the video? You're still able, okay, I'm getting the 12s, the water. Are you still able to hear me when the video freezes, or does everything freeze? All right. Okay, you can hear me. The sound is choppy or the video is choppy? All right. Everything is choppy. Okay. All right. Let's see. The video is lagging, but the audio sounds fine. Okay. Everything is freezing. Okay. Everybody's saying something different. Okay. Let's see. It says the video sound is good. Okay, the sound is good. All right. Well, the sound is good. All right. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment, y'all. Let's try something here. All right. Oh. Let's see. Not too sorry. Mm, mm. All right, let's see. All right. Let's see if that made any difference at all. Like it's lagged a little bit. What about now? Any change? All change in the now we just gonna have to run it. All right, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemala thoughts him, Yahweh Shai. Looking to Wab. All right, we good to go out here. But now, who is the oppressor? That's what we're talking about. We want to start back to the birth of the oppressor and trace this. This is important. Says it's frozen completely. All right. Let's see. It's somebody now. All right. So, oh, all right. We just keep going with it. But the oppressor, to the spirit of the oppressor, we're not going to start with his birth. We're going to backtrack and move around a little bit. We want to talk about, of course, we all know who the oppressor is. The oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. It is the so called white European, the so called Caucasian man. And as their empire closes, more and more is coming down to the very end of their empire, the end of everything that they worked and they stole, the honor for is coming to absolute as coming to end. Be sure that not only know what exactly to expect, but we also want to know what is the history of this devil, because they are. It seems like I will press a little bit over the time. They've not. They have not changed. All right. Okay. I see here looking at pros. So now we want to start with. Let's go ahead to Genesis. We want to start with Genesis. We might as well start with Genesis. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. We want to start with Genesis. We got to start with Genesis. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. All right. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up here. Once you get to Revelation and the full story of the Bible, everything is coming to an end, gives you flashbacks because that's the way we tell a story. We tell a story as people 2, 3, 4, 5. The Bible is not written 1, 3, 5. It goes here and there. The Bible says that you must learn line upon line. Here a little, there a little. In the New Testament, some things in the Old Testament, you have to actually know what happened in order for it to make any sense, in order for you to understand. So we look at Genesis chapter 3. Let me do it real quick. It will be just amongst like it's moving along good. This chapter 3. Yeah, it's not showing any of that. Okay. Let's check Facebook, see if it's clear. Genesis chapter 3. It's on Facebook too. But we just gonna rock it. And everywhere sound is good. Okay. So Genesis chapter 3. And now, this is the spirit of the oppressor. His spirit existed before the Lord made him the devil the Bible speaks of. Reincarnation is in the Bible. All right. Reincarnation is in the Bible. And the Lord brings your spirit back into the earth to live up. Created us. The Lord created us for his having trouble. Let me know if you can hear me here. Looks like it's speeding up a little bit. I don't know. Connection if you use my going. Solo layout. So actually can't know quick. Making no sense. So Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. The Lord created everything. We're in paradise. We're in the Garden of Eden. We're there. So it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field that the Most High made. The field is a set. Remember, every word that you hear, it's all there for specific reason. It's not just words just to be put there just for no reason. Beast of the field, who knows what the beast of the field is? Who knows what that set means, beast of the field? Anybody ask, who's beast of the field? Give it a shot. Who's the beast of the field? Who knows? So our first question is, who's the beast of the field? Who, who knows? Who are the beast of the field? Who want to give it a shot? All right. The heathen. Here you go. That's right. The nations are the beast of the field. The heathen are the beast of the field. The Lord refers to them as beast because of their nature. That's why you see them go and you watch videos on YouTube and TikTok. Hamites. See the Africans and find something. They'll just kill a monkey or something and just start eating it. It's like a lion would do or a bear would do. Just snatch it up and just bite the hell out of it and start eating it. You'll also see the so Chinese, various Asian throughout Asia, Ammon. They'll pick something up, a squid. They'll take a rock, the shell of a snail or a turtle, find it, just waiting in the river, pick up and throw it in a pan and season it and put onions on it. And before you know it, whatever the hell they found or dug out of a mud hole or snatched out of a cave, they'll just find that, bash it up, take a bite out of it. You can see videos now on Facebook, the heathen picking up a live fish or a squid and dipping it in some sauce and some seasonings and just chew it while you understand. The Lord called the other nations the beast of the field. All right. There was one nation. This is not talking about an individual. This is talking about the serpent. This is a people. There you go, the other nations. That's right. Out of all the people the Lord made, this one was the most cunning. They were sneaky. They didn't show you their true intentions up front. This is important for you to know about the devil that the Bible speaks of. And he said unto the woman, this devil went and spoke to the woman. Who's the woman? Is talking about Eve. He went and spoke to Eve specifically. And what was his purpose for speaking to Eve? What he said was, and he said unto the woman, have God said, have the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. She got instructions. And what does this statement say? What does this mean? The serpent is asking her a question. What does this mean? Eat all the trees of the garden? This means not only does he know that she's not supposed to eat of the trees of the garden, he knows that she's been told this. How else could he bring it up? See, our people have always been a special people. The Lord gave us a culture, and our culture, by following his rules and the spirit that he put inside of us, make us so different from all the other nations that we don't realize just how different we are. We don't realize how different the Lord made us. She knows and the serpent knows. That's correct, sis. And he said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. This tree in the garden is not talking about a literal tree. The Christian church has lied about the Garden of Eden in this story for centuries. The Christian church has lied for centuries about the Garden of Eden. They've lied about the story. They've lied about the serpent being a snake. They lied about Adam and Eve being naked white people living in a garden full with flowers and things. That's not what it says in the Bible. The Garden of Eden was not one place. It was in a geographical location, but it was not one place. The trees of the garden were not just regular trees. That's not what the trees of the garden are. The trees of the garden are talking about the family trees, the other nations of people that are there. Those are the trees of the garden that the Bible that is talking about. All right. So now these other families, these other trees in the garden, they all have they all have their own customs, and our people, which we don't realize, are different. Our people are so different that our rules and our ways make us stand out. I'll give you an example. Imagine you looking for something to eat. And the way you find something to eat, your father, your family, they just go digging in the dirt, and whatever they can catch and snatch up out the dirt, they'll pick it up, start biting it, and they'll say, "Yeah, we got dinner." They'll take a rock, bash it over the head, and they'll say, "Yep, there go dinner, y'all. We found something moving. We were bigger than it. We took a rock, we beat the hell out of it. Then we just started biting the hell out of it, and now this is food. We dug in the water, we found something crawling, we beat the hell out of it, we bit it, and now it's food. We dug under a rock, we found something, we beat the hell out of it, we bit it, and now this is food." You understand? That's how life was for the other nations. The Lord gave Adam a dietary law and rules about not eating blood of the animal, rules about not eating blood, not eating something while it's still alive. And then one day, your life, you see your family bashing bugs and roaches out of the water and just picking it up and biting it, getting stabbed in the face, getting clawed all up, everybody getting sick. And then you go somewhere and you see people that are clean. They're wearing clothes. They eating with forks. Their food is on the plate. Their food is not still running away while they trying to eat it. You would immediately know and see, well, that's a much better way to eat rather than me trying to fight this animal that's still alive while I'm trying to eat it. Our life was such a contrast that it was very easy for the nations to know who was a special people that had a much better way of doing things that were above them in their ways, and who was normal and regular like them. So just as much as, and this serpent knew who he was going to. There was a target on this woman. She did not realize it. The serpent, the oppressor, has always taught from the very beginning. Now we are living in paradise, the Garden of Eden. Eve has everything, but she is not equipped to deal with the wisdom and the deviousness of the serpent. And the said unto the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the tree which is in the midst of the in the middle of the garden." This is not talking about one specific tree. It is talking about the last portion of, if not most of the Middle East. It's known as the Fertile Crescent. It is still the exact same land that is the most fought over on the entire planet to this day. They're still fighting over Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, Palestine, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkey. They're still fighting over the same land to this day. She's telling the serpent the instructions that she got from Adam, which Adam got from the Most High. That we can't learn of the customs or of the food or the thought of knowledge, the food of knowledge. We can't learn from the customs of these other nations and people. Always to teach our people, using our woman, that God's words did not matter. Instructions from God, this was to do exactly what the U.S. government's job was always to do. That's what the Preacher's Civil Rights Bill God had do with to market it to Eve in order for it to work. You understand? In order for it to work, they had to market it. He told her a step further, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. You're gonna be just like God. You're gonna be the goddess, the diva, the queen, the boss lady. You gonna have your liberation, your freedom. You're gonna be on your own. You're gonna be loosed. This is the same lies that the Christian church, who taught exactly what the serpent told Eve in the garden. They've been teaching this to our people for several decades, and it has destroyed and wreaked absolute havoc in our communities, our cities, our families, and we begin to die in such a massive way. You understand? This serpent understood this. This was the spirit of our oppressor. That's why the Lord punished him. You understand? Learned something she was not supposed to. She went and taught it to Adam. Adam and Eve then stopped keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's something you also want to be very wary and cautious. Now, that the problem is the church has separated from the man. The Christian church has fought vigorously to separate it, to separate the Black, Latino, and Native American woman from her man, because this is how he knows he can destroy us. And under this media and his courts and his law enforcement, the spirit that they have used right along with his Christianity has put this spirit on our sisters the same way that he put this evil spirit on Eve garden. You're seeing. All right. So now we want to go a little further. We want to get a little bit more. We actually want to skip around to Daniel chapter 7, just to illustrate a little bit more on that point. All right, the water, making sure. Okay, it's frozen. What's going on? I see I said it's frozen. Okay. So you said it's frozen. Is the sound frozen or the video frozen? All right. Y'all let me know. So there's 7 people in here. Sound or the video? Or both. All right. Here. So Daniel chapter 7. She knows as well. Okay. It's kind of in and out the sound and the video. Okay. All right. So y'all make sure y'all hit them likes. Hit them likes. It's both back and slightly choppy, but we can make it out okay. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go now to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 8. Daniel chapter 7 and 25. Salaki. All right, Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Through the policies, through his legislation, through his government authority, he causes witchcraft to prosper in his hand. Exactly Donald Trump is doing right now. The legislation, through the policy and the ability that he has, he causes evil. Point where he doesn't even obey his own rules. He don't obey his own laws. You understand? His laws say you're supposed to go to court to have a trial before a judge to face your accuser and the charges against you so that you can defend yourself. That's what his law is. However, he deporting brothers and sisters out the country without seeing any judge. Charges put against him. Absolute lying without having to put any evidence before a court. How is he able to do that? Speaks of. He is the oppressor. His job is to oppress our people. It says he shall magnify himself in his heart, destroy many. Everybody thought that they were going out to learn the same link and bringing others in. Absolutely. He bringing in the white South Africans at the same time. That's the Caucasity of the devil. At the same time, saying America's full, we got to get rid of these immigrants. Also saying that the white South Africans, the Afrikaners, who are really white men and women from the Netherlands that moved to South Africa and helped institute a government system of apartheid, starving the South Africans to death for many decades, giving all the wealth, power, and authority to white invaders, colonizers from Europe and Africa, and giving nothing to these so-called nothing to the Africans. They are oppressors, understand? Now, we not the same as the Africans, right? It makes absolutely no sense. We not the same as them. However, the devil has destroyed the world. You understand? This will be at peace. They're going to be glad to remove this oppressor from his position of power and authority and prestige down to the ground so that he doesn't control the resources, because he'll steal the resources from everything, from the animals, the birds, the bear. He'll make you pay for water, pay to use the, so there's nothing left. And by peace he shall destroy many. Seeking to have peace with our oppressor has destroyed us as a people, because the Lord did not want us to seek to have peace with another nation. The Lord wanted us to look at the nations as the field. We want to look as not family. Scam that gets run on our people, and he passed his power here. We came off of cargo slave ships. They stole the land from the Gadite tribes and forced them on reservations and told them they got a third class citizenship in their own land, in their own country. And now President Trump is working to take that away. Citizenship as well. They said entire race of people and brought them in the land. We got to find a way, because even though we claiming that they're the same as a horse or a car, we have to find a way out somehow. And said every black man is 3/5 of a white man. That was the first start of them making us. That's what it says through his policy. He causes the prosper, the Caucasity, to say, well, you're 3/5. And gradually they said, well, they got too much labor in the South. We need to find that labor in the North. So they had a civil war so that the North, who did not have the slave labor to build, had slave labor to build up their cities and town and economy. So they fought a war, not for our benefit, not to seek peace with us, but it's important to know that it's in the Bible. And the craft, witchcraft, time you had us building up our own black towns, but they passed legislation that it was not illegal for them to unalive them. I believe it was a Virginia, the Casual Killing Act. Let's pull that up. Oh no, Casual Killing Act is October. This is the policy that the Bible is talking about. It's all in the Bible. Question number 3. Who knows what this is? Who knows? This is the Casual Killing Act. Who knows what that is? We pull this up. On October the 20th, 1669, it says the willful, malicious killing of an enslaved person. See, they don't want to say black people. Protected white women, there you go. That's right. Protected white. Colonial Virginia authorized enslavers. That means they authorized white people, the oppressor, to kill. The law that made it legal to kill black people. The Casual Killing Act of 1669, which declared it legal to kill a slave while correcting the said slaves. October the 20th. This is what the Bible is talking about. Through his policy, he caused craft to prosper. The witchcraft of making it legal to unalive us. This is what his government, this is why it was such a foolish thing to ever think that your vote can count in a place. They were authorized The casual accidentally killed one of us, then it was okay. It's not illegal. There's a provision in the law. There's witchcraft. The Bible tells us. The Bible tells us that if you smite a man with an inch of wood or iron, he die. You, the oppressor, has law concerning us. Just like if you are a police officer, you gun down you shoot a young black or Latino brother or sister in the back. It's not a crime because he passed legislation because there's casual killing act on the books. Well, if you trying to correct her, if you trying to correct one of these slaves, see, they don't want to say black, they black because they put special provisions in the law, special words. That's why the Lord called them the most subtle beasts to the field. They put you think that see they fail. If black lives matter, all lives matter. It's not black people. It's just, oppressed people. It's people of color. Everybody who is people of color, but because of the age, they get a stop bill. What bill did we get? The Casual Killing Act of 1669. If they beat you to death trying to correct you, well, it happens. Everybody breaks, who was trying to correct them, and I put into him just happened to take his life. That's all. Don't look at it as real beings. They're not real people. Casual killer. Don't find it. Amber Geiger in the courtroom when she casually killed both of them. She's not charged with murder. It's a kid. When that bastard shot Terry, he's not murder. It's a killing. When they choke Eric Garner to death in New York, it's not murder. When a mob, an angry mob with badges because they got wrong side, just choke him there. He screamed for his life. It's not just a casual killing. There's a in the law. The same police forces, runaway slave patrol catchers. This law on massive killing acts is to law. Massive never had in this place. Now people may have thought matter were able to make the oppressor his coffee and you streets his football and you box, you entertain, you jigaboo, you shake your dead buck, you're making victims that he can $billions and then never tell the world that Dr. Shirley Jackson made the fiber optic cables for the high speed internet or the DSL cables for your Ethernet. You understand, or the system that made the GPS, or you Russell and Henry T. Temple that made. You don't ever teach about that. You don't want to make or the native, the Indian savage. As Donald Trump gets in office, what is he removes all America, get rid of the natural code. All the black statues and things dedicated to figures and military American history. Let's get rid of all of it right all together. Remember, by his policy, government and his legislation, he gets together with his people. Witchcraft prosper. That's why you shouldn't trust another nation of people. You should not marry them. You should not take them. Should not celebrate with them or blueprint on how to be a sober mind. These other nations. The Bible says we're gonna go to Psalms. Smooth as butter. That's it's not the hateful killing. It's the legal killing. It's the it's just casual. That's all. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna burden the law, prosecute you for murder. We're not gonna do that. It's unnecessary. Psalms 55 and 20 says, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. That's why the Lord said, never seek peace. Being at peace and seeking peace. More land and killed the buffalo and stole the horses. Before you know it, you can't even find Native Americans. They're hidden somewhere in the mountains where the land is terrible, where there are no resources, hidden out of sight, out of mind, and the oppressor takes everything else because he have broken his covenant. This is the spirit of the oppressor. The words of his mouth was smooth, 55 and 20. He talks so smooth. Donald Trump is not coming out and saying, I don't. He's the most subtle beast. It's not about race. I don't see race. It's not about race. We need to we need to get rid of these. We got to send them to El Salvador. They're all gang members. These Haitians, they're bad hombres. But the South, they're being killed. Haiti had the president assassinated. Gangs took over the capital. They beheading people in the streets. Donald Trump doesn't care about that. He has smooth words. It's about our policy, it's about our laws, and then he passed legislation that says, well, we don't need to get you before a judge. We'll just execute a punishment on you without ever putting you before the judge. Oops, I already sent them to Sudan. Oops, I already sent them to a gulag prison in a foreign country that they're not from. Oh, well, his words are smoother than butter. You don't think they hate you because you listen to the smooth words. You don't think Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton hated you when they passed that 95 crime bill. You thought they were doing what was best for your black community because after integration destroyed the black businesses and the black civil rights leaders flooded the black community with heroin and cocaine using the mafia and Al Sharpton and Moss number 12 after they to the same oppressor who made a law that they could casually unalive you. Why are they being sent to El Salvador? Because Donald Trump made a deal with another oppressor. The president of El Salvador is a so-called Palestinian. His name is Nayib Bukele. How did a Palestinian become the president of El Salvador? Because El Salvador is filled with the children of God. One of the curses of the children of God is that stranger that is within thee shall rise up above thee very high, and thou shalt be brought down very low. That's how the president of El Salvador, a country filled with the tribe of Zebulon, none of them get to be in charge. Rules to get money from America to take prisoners that Donald Trump illegally throwing out of the past legislation to undo President South Africa. They are getting full royal treatment into America. The same. That's why they're being sent to El Salvador, because Donald Trump hates them. They're not being sent to the country of El Salvador. They're not being sent to join the El Salvadorian population being deported. The Gulag prison was in El Salvador, all of his circular streets, behead people and skin people alive and pull people's eyes, and he piled the two warring gangs together. A prison cell block size of an airport, where they get no judge, no case, no lawyers, no friend visits, no family, no human rights organizations. Nobody gets, they can't. Not an else. And President Trump out a deal to get these brothers and like all members of this Venezuelan gang, when this gang has no tattoos. It has no angle. You understand? But he lied and snatched up any brother with a tattoo. See, that says MS-13. That says Trendell. He's a liar. He's the most beast of the field. His hatred and his racism. You understand? By using his policy and the smooth work with, and that's what he's doing. Now everyone is finding out, well, this is illegal. The tribe of Oppressor said, man, I checked white on the census. That's why we voted for Donald Trump. And now they're deported out the country because he is the devil. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Talk now, really waging war on a learner. Words was softer than. It's not murder. That's not what it is. It's just casually killing. That's all. But the words out of his mouth, they were drawn swords. This is the same thing that the serpent did to Eve in the garden. It was a sword. It was a weapon to attack us, to destroy us, to hurt us. You understand? But not just us alone. He's the oppressor. He's destroyed everything. We're going to go now to Hosea chapter 12 and verse 7. All right. Go to Hosea chapter 12 and verse 7. Hosea 12 verse 7 tells us. Super choppy. All right. Let's see. It was a little better now. All right. So now we're going to go to Hosea chapter 12 and verse 7 to get more on this oppressor. It says, he is a merchant, meaning he's a salesman, the art of the deal. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He raises taxes and tariffs. He's a salesman, a merchant. He can deceive you and make you think there's a shortage of eggs. There's a shortage of goods, so he can officially raise the price. Oil, and there's no shortage of oil. There's no shortage of oil. America is full of oil. Alaska is full of oil. America has oil reserves and America has oil in the ground. There's no shortage of oil. America has deals with the Arab nations and all of those countries, and they are full of oil. You're full of oil. There's no shortage of oil. You understand? But he can buy and artificially inflate the of the oil to make you gas. He can artificially inflate the price of rent, of mortgages. He just lied. The chickens, y'all. One in female lays an egg every day. They're warehousing these chickens. Drug, fertile, more fertile, bigger in record times. In a couple of weeks, they got thousands of chickens from each plantation ready to go, filling up the stores. All at the Popeyes, all at the churches, all at the Roscoe's, all at the anywhere that anybody needs chicken. It is plenty of it. He just lie and say, "Oh, something going on with the chicken. Uh, that $3 pack of wings now needs to be $12. Oh, we running out of wheat, y'all." The oppressor will literally pay farmers to not grow more food. They'll pay them so that they can create a fake demand and then artificially raise it. Those diamonds, everybody see those rappers love winning them diamonds, all them diamonds. They've been artificially making diamonds for decades. Some Arab, some Asian man, Johnny Dang and Ben Baller, Jacob the Jeweler, they've artificially been making diamonds for decades. Right in the laboratory. You order some diamonds, some Arab goes into the back of the store, Iceware, Vivo, and Icebox, Ice Jewelry. He go right to the back of the store. He gets some rocks, get some metal, he liquid it, he mix it around, he stir it up, it not hot, pour it into a mold, and it'll pass your diamond test. It'll pass your gold test. It'll be whatever the hell he wanted to be. And he don't need real gold to do that. He doesn't need real silver, doesn't need real platinum. He don't need any real of whatever they're selling you. He's a merchant. Esau has worked out a way to scam the world. That's why the other nations is scamming right along with him. Understand? The balances of deceit are in his hand. His whole job in life is to deceive. to deceive a man into thinking that he can be a woman, to deceive a woman into thinking that she can be a man, to deceive a woman into thinking that she should marry herself to her job and her career, and then after she's old, that once she has her job, her career, her money, and she's living life going through whatever she wants to do in the world, and then after she's old and used and passed herself around 20s and 30s, all on OnlyFans, all in the street, all at All-Star Weekend and the Labor Day Parade, Hot Girl Summer, and Sneaky Links and everything else, that now, well, now is time for her to settle down. Like he sold that lifestyle. The same way that he sold that lie to Eve in the garden, Esau sold a lifestyle to separate him from their man. Now sisters are learning all on the internet and TikTok, I'm not going to be able to retire. I end up buying triple what I can afford, and they taking the cost. When they bought out, that's double what I could afford. They need more money. My mortgage is double. All on the internet. The dangerous things that the surpass tricked our people into believing that he had a to live in the way that God beginning. The kids running on miss, they killing each other. Everybody knows all the situation here. Like this was our people tricked by the oppressor. It was a setup from the jump. He run the same place since the Garden of Eden. You understand? Now, let's learn some more about this oppressor. Let's get some more. We go on to Numbers chapter 24 and verse 18. We're going to learn about a particular piece of garbage named Amalek. You understand? An animal, a sword named Amalek. Amalek, grandson of Esau, dukes of Edom. Amalek. Does anybody know who Amalek is today? Anybody know who Amalek is? Amalek today is the so-called Jewish man. That's Amalek, the Khazarian of the Khazarian Empire. That's Amalek. Numbers chapter 24, verse 18. This issue with Amalek did not just begin in 2020. It didn't begin with Kyrie Irving reading a book and Kanye West making comments on Twitter and Instagram. It didn't just start. Amalek has been gunning for the children of God. Numbers chapter 24 and 18, it says, and Edom shall be a possession. Edom is supposed to be owned. They're not supposed to be free and on their own. Seir is the homeland of Esau. Mount Seir, or the mountains, because they come from the caves, the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, off the Gulf of Aqaba. That's where the Esau, the so-called Caucasian, comes from. Also shall be a possession for his enemies. His enemies shall possess his land. The Lord doesn't want Esau to own any land. You shouldn't be helping Esau fight for land, fight for America, fight for Europe, fight for his empire, fight his democracy. Strong. You should not be fighting for Esau. You should not give years to the crew or put forth your hands with a wicked man. You shouldn't do that. Because after decades of doing that, they just erase all your history. No more Buffalo Soldiers. No more Red Tails. No more Navajo Code Talkers. No more Indian Hunters. You don't exist anymore. We just forget all about you. You never existed. You understand? It says, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion. Meaning from the name from Israel, Christ is going to have dominion and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. The Lord wants to destroy Esau. Esau is the devil the Bible speaks of. God is against him and all of his family. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable. He said this saying about Amalek. And he said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end, when he's done, he shall be he that perisheth forever. The Lord wants Amalek to perish forever. He never wants Amalek to ever exist again. You understand? The Lord is stirring this up. Let's get some more. All right. We're going now to Exodus chapter 17 and verse 8. Why is the Lord against Amalek? Amalek is an incarnation of Esau. He's of the families of the Edomites that is that the Bible speaks of. God made it clear the devil is your natural enemy. If you are black, Latino, or Native American, you are the children of God and the chief enemy, like the lions and the hyena, like the wolves or the raccoons in the hen house. You understand? That's your chief enemy. That's what the whole Bible is about. It said in Amalek, Salakia, Exodus 17 and 8 says, Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rehidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand atop the hill with the rod of the Most High in mine hand. He had the staff that the Lord gave him. And I'm going to stand up top this hill, and tomorrow you must go and fight with Amalek. So Joshua did as Moses said unto him, and fought with Amalek, and Moses and Aaron and Hur went up on the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. He had a battle with Amalek. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. You understand? You ever see those the Bible says Jacob is the form of all things. You ever watch those movies where at the beginning of the battle, you raise up his hand, fight, roar, and they run each other? That's our Bible. Of course, nobody fights that, but that raised hand to talk to battle to victory is described here in the Bible. Every old movie or show, they got two teams of warriors on opposite sides, run and meet in the field and fight each other, raise the sword to tell the charge. This is describing in the Bible. All right. All right. So now we're going to skip down. Verse 13, it says, And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. They had to fight. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book. He said, Write this down. Put it in a book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, to continually be learning this in Joshua's ears. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. You understand? Verse 16 says, For he said, Because the Most High have sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. The Lord wants Amalek to be absolutely despised if you serve God. Why? What is it about this oppressor that we must learn? All right. Let's get some more. What did Amalek do? To this day, he's still a thorn in our side. All right. Smoked. Let's get some more. All right. Deuteronomy 25 and 18 tells you. 25 and 17. It says, Remember what Amalek did unto thee. By the way, we should all remember this. You should all know who Amalek is. Remember what he did by the way, when ye will come forth out of Egypt. We were walking Egypt, not made it promised land that they're giving us. We were just coming out of slaves of years, trying to get our foot established ourselves, trying to be free. He said, how he met thee by the way and smote the hind of thee. We came out of Egypt in a caravan. The men and the women, the fruit of millions of blacks like together of us. And we're on foot. Our horses, our camels, our donkeys, our backs, bad knees, feet hurt, the sick, people trying to detox, but all in free from Egypt. We're all from Egypt. We are on walk through the desert to get to our that the Lord promised us. In the back, you got that's pregnant, that just delivered babies, you got women and children, you got grandma, people with canes, not the warriors, not the ones that can come and fight with you, that can defend themselves, the innocent, the children, the babies, the elderly. That's who he came. And that's who the so-called Jewish man came to kill them. You understand? They didn't want to have a war. It's an equal force that could fight against them. They wanted to have a war with children. They wanted to unalive babies. Spirit of oppressor. That's the spirit. A predator doesn't want to fight the strongest because the strongest might hurt him, might destroy him. Fight. You understand? They ground a predator drone. So from 1,000 feet, you never get an opportunity to fight him like a man. You understand? Come on, blow up your whole city. That's the spirit of this. But Amalek in particular, even all people were weak behind me. Sisters just getting out the hospital, daddy old, mama back hurting. She just getting out of Egypt National Hospital. Now we got to walk through the wilderness because the Egyptians is waiting on the other side of the river to take our lives. Because we want to be free. Because the Lord want us to be free. You understand? Our sisters wouldn't kill them in the birthing chambers. That's why the Lord called these nations the beast of the field. Even all that were feeble when I was faint and weary. We're tired. We were walking through the desert. It's hot. It's full of sand. We thirsty. We don't have no food on us. We eating, bread that fall out the sky from the Most High. We were destroyed. We weren't even a full nation yet. The Lord was establishing us. And he feared not the Most High. He didn't care that the God of these people just destroyed ancient Egypt. He didn't care. He figured this was his opportunity to go and take a trophy, unalive some of our children. You understand? Because we were weak. Verse 19. You understand? Therefore it shall be, when the Most High thy power have given thee rest from all thine enemies which are round about. All of the other nations, the Lord said, are our enemies. In the land which the Most High giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. We hadn't gotten to our home. We were homeless. He came and attacked and took the lives of the homeless. That's what he was doing. The handicapped, the homeless, the poor. That's who he came to attack. So when you watching videos, seeing the Jewish man bombing the Palestinians, and the Palestinians is trying to get water, they trying to get food, they trying to get to the hospital. He blowing up the food caravans, he blowing up the hospital, he bombing everywhere. Why? Because this is Amalek. That's his spirit. This is the so-called Jewish man in the Bible. That thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not so-called Jewish man. Why? Because of the crimes that the Lord said he did. The Lord did not forget this. God does not forgive these other nations for the crimes that they have done to us against him. God does not want us to feel it and lower them and be like them and take. We're going to go to Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9 to see more about Amalek. He said, our works, talking to us, and tribulation, how much suffering and hell we going through as a people. You understand? You come to work legally, and then they say that you illegal. You don't get a chance to prove you illegal. You fool. You doing a job. You're not breaking the law. Crime. They say America for everybody. They already laid for the Latinos and the Native Americans. They illegally detaining people and then just throw them in a immigration prison, and they give a damn. They just throw you up like an old tire of a car. And the Lord is going to do terrible things to our oppressor for this. Terrible. He just need our people to wake up and to separate from them and to turn to thy works and tribulation and poverty. Do you know that by policy, Donald Trump suddenly removed the protective status for hundreds of thousands of Manassites who are the tribe, almost 500,000, that he's getting ready to up and just throw them out the country after they have legal protective status and rights to come to America to work. They paying taxes. They building up the economy. They're doing exactly what the American dream said to do. What America welcomes the South Africans and the Ukrainians to do. Except one problem. They are the children of God. And in democracy, and are not in the truth serving the Most High, our people are without the protection of the Lord, both spiritually, physically, legally, and every other way possible. And this leaves us as a prey open to our oppressors to exploit, to destroy us. The Lord says, I know thy works. You see how hard we're working, even though the other nations never give us the credit for the work that we do. You know how much work we did in the west coast of Africa? How much things we invented in the Middle East, all the work we did in ancient Egypt? They didn't care about any of that. They just wanted to oppress us, destroy us, continue to eat and get richer and richer while we starved to death. They could give a damn. That's why the Lord wiped them the hell out. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. There's a people saying that they are the Jew. That's the Jewish man. That's Amalek, the same man who was killing our babies and grandmothers and elderly and our sick when we left out of Egypt, which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. The Lord called them the synagogue of Satan. They're the place to worship Satan, pretending to be God's chosen people. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9 says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, talking about the Jewish man, which say they are Jews. They say they're a Jew and are not, but do lie. They lie. They lie because the real Jews are the ones that they sold into slavery, along with the West Africans and the rest of the Europeans for centuries. Behold, take them and worship before thy feet. They're going to bow down to our feet in the kingdom. and to know that I, I have loved thee. They're going to know that the Most High acts, not them. It's going to force them. Yes. All right. Let's get some more. Y'all give me a one if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me keep going. It should have cleared up by now, but who knows? All right. Let's see. Revelation 18:4. All right. The praise. Let's stay with my dogs. Just a moment. All right, the water, Sister Raya. All right. All right. They get you some more braid. Just a moment. You get this scripture with y'all. Okay. One person responded. All right. Most High. Nobody else is the waters. Let me know it looks like it's the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, let's see. Pray. Let's see. There we go. Job chapter 30. Ooh. Let's get some more. Most High in Christ. The water. The water says, okay. I go to Job 30 yet. There's another scripture we want to get before. Let's get some more. Like the devil the Bible speaks of. We're going to go now to Job chapter 12. All right. It says the tabernacles of Job 12:6 says the tabernacles or the tents or the house of robbers prosper. There's a house that is built solely for thieves. America is a house that is built where thieves come to prosper. It is built. The house of Esau. Okay, Most High in Christ. All right, the house of Esau is built for thieves. Whether you're the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the white man from Spain, the Irish. The Irish man is not the natives of that land of Ireland. The Scottish man, ish, Irish, ish is a suffix. The Irie are the West Indian brothers, the Benjamites. That's why they say Irie, Irie. That's Benjamite talk. That's not the white man from Ireland. That's not Conor McGregor. You understand? And Gennady Golovkin. That's not their land. They moved into that land. The Scots, the Scottish, they're Scottish. Ish is a suffix like Jewish. We are the Jews. The Jewish man is an imposter. The Scots, the Scottish man is not the real Scots. The Irish man, you understand? It's not their land. Everywhere they go, their people is a house of robbers. Everything they have, they've stolen. It says the tabernacle, the tents, the houses of robbers prosper. America is the biggest house of robbers and thieves. This entire land, from coast to coast, is all stolen. All of it. The house of thieves prosper. They steal the gold, the oil, the silver, the resources, the land as he's stolen. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke the Most High, they're secure. They provoke God by making a white image of Jesus Christ. When the Bible says Jesus Christ is a black man, by making white people be God's chosen people when the Bible says the Jews are black. You understand? By taking the Bible and making a religion based around the people that God said is the devil, the vessel of dishonor. That's to provoke God. Tell a woman she could kill her baby when the Lord puts a life inside of a woman. You understand? Tell a woman she could leave her man and be independent from him when the Lord said the head of the woman is the man. Thou get a wife, you beginneth a possession. She can't leave you and go do her own thing. That's against God. But they provoke God, telling a woman that she has a right to leave her father, to leave her husband. They create an environment where feminism and women empowerment allow her to go and whore herself out and destroy the city. It destroys her. It puts her in a false environment that is filled with danger and things that God never intended for a woman to be exposed to. All of that's going to end in the kingdom. All that's going to end. That's why sisters having such a hard time right now. Like this whole fantasy world that Christianity and the oppressor has created. So people, Donald Trump is speeding it to the end. You understand? The tabernacles of the robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are a man. He got a right to go be with another. A woman got a right to go be with another woman. A woman can chop her breasts off and go buy a fake penis from the store and wear it and pretend to be a man. Tell her she can go and marry another woman and then in vitro fertilization. So the sperm donor, so her and her girlfriend, two women can play a house like you play when you was a little kid. Play mine two women, one of the women chop her back and dress like a man. America gives the woman a right to dress like a man. That's the oppressor's culture. No other culture on the planet does that. America gives a man the right to dress like a woman. You won't be safe doing that in Africa. You won't be safe doing that in the Middle East. And there's certain, but you're not safe everywhere in Asia. Just be a woman and you a man. You're gonna disappear. Now we not advocating violence, not at all. However, the oppressor promotes a culture and a lifestyle that even the other heathen are saying, we don't want this. Stream, we don't champion children's cartoons. We don't want this. You understand? It says, into whose hand the the Lord made the oppressor rich, even powerful. Why? Because our people refused to obey God, and this was a punishment to us. Verse 7 says, ask now the beast, and they shall tell thee that the oppressor is the devil. Ask who? Ask the lions that are in the zoo, full of drugs, so that they don't kill the damn trainer, throwing the meat in a bucket. 600 pounds of muscle with claws that could rip through wood and climb trees and tear through thousands of pounds of buffalo and zebra. He don't get to live his full life because the whale can't swim around the planet. He got to live in SeaWorld. The seals can't be in or the sea. They live in do. They got to do for fish. Understand? Go ask gorillas in the zoo that you watching them relax. They running around in circles in this tiny little enclosure while you taking pictures. They a goddamn science project. The oppressor hug them full of drugs. They can't even live a real set and eat the damn trainer. They say, oh, he's a killer whale. Uh-oh. Blackfish. Why would you do this, Blackfish? Like these are real live examples that you can see that God put in the Bible to tell you who the oppressor of the earth is. Who does that? There's no African sea world. There's no Arab or Asian sea world. You understand? If you go and ask the beast, they'll tell you. And the fowls of the air. Ask the dodo bird. You can't, because the dodo bird is extinct. Why did the bald eagle end up on the endangered species list? It's supposed to be the #1 bird, right? Because the oppressor was killing them. How did the Bengal tiger end up on the endangered species list? Because the British man was running with that hat like in Jumanji in the safari in the bushes, shooting and killing all the Bengal tigers. You understand? Ask the fowl of the air or speak to the earth. Go ask the ocean. Ocean, why are you filled with plastic? Why is there a bunch of straws in the ocean? Well, the oppressor mass produced plastic and then did it damn ocean. Well, the oppressor dug up all the clams and scallops and mussels and lobsters and crabs that God made clean and filtered the water. The oppressor took the ocean and scraped them off, put them in. That's why, because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Go ask the air. Why is the air poison? Because the white man sprays chemicals in the air, chemtrails, all over the city. Why are the bees dying? Oh, because the oppressor sprayed all the grass and all the flowers with poison. That's why the bees are dying. That's why the crops are doing so bad, because he's killing all the bees with the poison. Why does he poison the earth? Because he's the devil the Bible speaks of. He's the unnatural thing that is spread all over the earth that ruins life everywhere he goes. It's him. That's why God put it in the Bible. All right, let's go now to Genesis. Start about the beginning of this oppressor. Let's go to Genesis chapter 4. Let's get the birth of the first murderer on the earth. We're gonna wrap it up these next few scriptures here. The water, y'all hanging in there. Get this situation straight. All right. We go into Genesis chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, and Adam knew his wife. He knew his wife. And it says Adam knew Eve, it means that Adam had sex with Eve. That's how you become a wife. Sex is marriage, according to God. The white man say that sex is just, a casual hookup, a fling, nothing, no strings attached. You understand? God gave us rules on sex. The white man said sex doesn't mean anything. That's not our culture. Never been. It says, and she conceived. He had sex with his wife and she conceived. She got pregnant. That's how it happens. And bare Cain. She had a boy, a son. And she said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. She said she looked at this baby. She looked at this and she wasn't confused. She said, I see here, this baby got a rod on it. Well, this is a man from the Lord. Not, I'm going to let it grow up and decide what the gender is going to be. The oppressor made that garbage up. You're going to change your gender. Nonsense. She looked and said, oh, this is a boy. I got a man from the Lord. The Lord gave me a man child. And she bare again. She had another baby, his brother, Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep. He was a shepherd. Cain was a tiller of the ground. He worked on the ground. Whatever's in the ground. He was a gardener. That's what the tiller of the ground is. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Lord. He knew that the Lord was supposed to get an offering. Just like the serpent in the garden knew that Eve had rules from the Most High. He knew that Eve had rules. The same way that Cain knew that God had rules. It's time to bring an offering to the Lord. He brought an offering of the ground. What's in the ground? Carrots, onions, potatoes, leeks, whatever's in the ground. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground and offering to the Most High. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. He brought an offering. They both knew there was an offering they were supposed to bring. One brought what he wanted, The other one bought what the Lord required. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering. The Lord respected what Abel did because Abel obeyed the instructions. The oppressor does not want you to obey any instructions. He don't want you to obey the father's orders. He wants you to turn against your father. That child rebellion, rebel against your child, rebel against your parents. That's the oppressor. That's his spirit. You understand? But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect. The Lord did not respect Cain's offering. And Cain was very wroth. He was very angry, and his countenance fell. He didn't reflect on the fact that he did the wrong thing. The oppressor doesn't like to be corrected for doing the wrong thing. He the fact that you are doing the right thing. He wants to corrupt you from obeying the Father, to do something evil. He wants to take away you doing the right thing, encourage you to do the wrong thing, to be the outlaw, to be the gangster, to be the criminal, to be the cheat, to be the thief, to be the deviant. That's his purpose. God made him. He chose this from the beginning. He chose this. And the Lord said unto Cain, he was always a wicked man from the beginning. His soul was evil, always. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? What you mad about? And why is thy countenance fallen? What you sad about? If thou doest well, if you did the right thing, shalt thou not be accepted? He's telling them you did what was wrong. Do you think you're supposed to be accepted for doing the wrong thing? And if thou doest not well, if you continue to do what's wrong that you know you're not supposed to do, sin lieth at the door, is waiting for you like a buddy, like a friend. It's going to make a home at your house. You are going to be the man of sin. Because from the very beginning, the spirit of our oppressor was always against God. And unto thee shall be his desire. Whatever evil, whatever Satan wants you to do, that will be your desire. And thou shalt rule over him, meaning you will be the man of sin. Verse 8. And Cain talked with his brother Abel, the good son. And it came to pass when they were in the field is important. Our oppressor loves to be in the field. He in the field hunt, covered in deer piss, making a duck sound, making a sound like a female deer, hunting bear, hunting pig, hunting hogs, hunting elephants in the safari, shooting the damn tiger, shooting the lions, shooting the giraffe, killing all the rhino. He's in the field being a murderer. And Cain rose up against his brother Abel and slew him. He killed his brother. He unalived and murdered his brother because his brother got favor from the Father, that he was unwilling to do what was required to be accepted by the Lord. This was his spirit from the beginning. He was always a wicked bastard. Who can make straight that which the Lord hath made crooked? He's always been crooked. There is no redemption for him. There's never been redemption for him. Not from Genesis, not in Revelation. You understand? This is something that God wants you to learn about the oppressor. You understand? And now when the Lord come to ask him, where's your brother? He said something evil, which you should never say in the truth. He said, am I my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to know where he at? Is it my job to watch him? That's an evil and a wicked thing that you should not say. It's an evil thing that Christians say this. I'm my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. Don't say that. That's an evil thing from an evil spirit. And he said, the Lord said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. The voice of the murdered and the slain doesn't go away. They cry to God for justice. That's why we are still alive, are the children of those slain slaves. We are supposed to still be crying to the Lord for justice, because the blood of our slain brothers and sisters and foremothers and forefathers is still crying to God for justice. You are an evil, wicked person to join a religion of another race of people that committed crimes and atrocities against your people. You supposed to want justice, not join them and take their God and marry them and jump in their bed and have a family with them. That's an evil, traitorous thing that the Lord is very angry with. That's why our brothers and sisters are being abused by our oppressor. That's why Donald Trump is able to be cruel and evil to them, because we are living lives outside of God's protection in Christianity, in Islam. The Lord said, "And now art thou cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength." That's why they need our brothers and sisters to work the fields. The Latino brothers and sisters that work in America's farms. Now that they're being deported, the farms is falling apart. Just like it was the last time they tried these mass deportations. Except Donald Trump know that America's at his end. A fugitive, a wanted criminal, and a vagabond shalt thou be in all the earth. Everywhere you go, you're going to be a wanted criminal because you are the murderer. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Why I got to be punished like this? He didn't care that he took somebody's life. They don't care that they take somebody's life. They don't care about the people that they've murdered. They only care that now I have to face a punishment. I shouldn't have to be punished for taking somebody's life. You got to let me go. You got to let me off. It's time to cry. It's time to show my tears. You got to have mercy on me, even though I didn't have mercy on anybody when Christ returns. You understand? The evil that God is about to plague our oppressors with is going to be an evil, terrible thing that has not been seen from the beginning of all of human history. It is going to be terrible. You understand? So what else happened? Let's get some more. He said, my punishment. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. What is the face of the earth? That's the land. God drove them from the land. And from thy face shall I be hid. Meaning the Lord would not protect him. The Lord would not be with them. And I shall be a fugitive, a wanted criminal, and a vagabond. Someone on the earth that has no land that belongs to them. That's why they come from the caves of the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. No land belongs to them. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. They're going to find me and take my life, because everywhere I go, they will know that I am the murderer. I'm the criminal. Verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. The Lord put a mark on Cain. What was that mark? He removed all the pigment from Cain's skin so that you could see the blood showing through his skin, because he is the murderer, the one that sheds blood on the earth. That's where the so-called white man or Caucasian man or caveman comes from. You understand? Now, this was before the flood. All of this was before the flood that happened in Noah's days. The Lord had already cursed this oppressor. He already cursed Cain. You understand? So now we're going to go down to get his descendant. He continued to be a murderer. Verse 23. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech. Listen to me clearly. For I have slain a man to my wounding. I killed somebody, and it hurt me very dearly. This is something that I am going to have to face repercussions for. They never think about facing repercussions when it's time to take someone's life. They don't have a concept of my life and your life matters. The concept is my life matters, and if I take your life, I should not have to suffer for it. That's why I pass a law that say it's not a murder, it's just a casual killing. It's just casual. I didn't commit a crime. I haven't done anything wrong. You understand? For I have slain a man to my wounding. I'm going to have to pay for this. A young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech, his grandson, 70 and sevenfold. You understand? So, verse 25, this is also very important. God had this bastard son murderer disowned from Adam's lineage. And Adam knew his wife again and bare a son. She bare a son. She had another boy and called his name Seth. For the Most High said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. He took my son. Now Abel is gone. Cain is no longer my son. The Lord removed Cain from Adam's genealogy because he's a disgusting bastard that no longer counts. You understand? He doesn't count anymore. He's a fugitive and a vagabond, and the Father threw him away because he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, we want to get some more history on Cain. We're going to Job or his children. We go into Job chapter 30 and verse 8. We'll get some more history of what happened to these descendants that were driven from the face of the earth. All right. It says, Job 30 and 1. Now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose father I would have disdained to have with my. I wouldn't let them be around my dogs. Why? Because the person will have sex with a dog. I don't want them around my dogs. They are more of a beast than my actual animals are. Yea, where you might the strength of their hands profit me, in whose perish. Their strength is going to profit me. One in fame, they were solitary. One, they were always understand. That's why everything they got, they had to murder for. Caves. They didn't have resources at a high mortality rate. This is the man is. They're fleeing into the it's like a wild dog, like a wolf or a coyote. Wilderness in the former time, desolate and waste. They lived in the wilderness. They were desolate. They didn't have any. They didn't have inheritance because the Lord took it from them. Animals, mallow by the bushes, you understand? They were driven from among men. They couldn't live around. They could live around other men. Who drove them away? God drove them away because murderers. They cried after that thief. You said this was a future and a vagabond. They were driven from among men. That's what the Lord said in Genesis that we just read in Genesis chapter 4. The Lord driven them from the face of the earth and removed them from among people to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. That's the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. They didn't live on the land. They lived in the caves. They out of their granddaddy's skull. They ate food and drunk from the skulls. That's how this is real ancient biblical history of the oppressor. Real people. That's not a movies and television show. This really you don't know that. You've been seeing them eat latte and on TV. You see them on Disney. They teacher. You see them everywhere. You see them in a much better state now than they were. How did they get? Because you and our forefathers refused to obey God. That's how they got everything they have. You understand? Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they would get together, all fours like a dog, like a creature, monster. And you understand? They were the fools, the base men. They were viler than the most vile men. Their forefathers were fools. That's what God said. And now I am their song. Byword. Now they, and we've been fighting against the serpent ever since. Now they made us rule over us. They're dumb. Why? Because they told a woman she could kill her baby. They told a woman she don't need a man. The country. Because they're the children of fools. God said this about them. You understand? So now, let's see, where do we want to go? We want to finish this off here with Romans chapter 9. We're going to get Romans chapter 9. All right, Romans chapter 9. And we're going to go down. We'll go to 13. As a matter of fact, let's go to Genesis chapter 25 first. This is the birth of Esau, who is the actual devil the Bible speaks of. That was the backstory of the spirit of Cain and what became of him. And then, of course, we know that Jacob and Rebekah have twins. Isaac and Rebekah have twin sons who are Jacob and Esau. And Rebekah prayed to the Lord, and she began to have a rough pregnancy. And she went to ask a prophet of God why in Genesis, the 25th chapter. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. Genesis 25 and 21. And the Most High was entreated of him. He did what he asked. He granted his prayer. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. She had a baby. She's now pregnant. And the children that she's pregnant with struggle together within her. She got twins. They fight like hell inside of her while she's having this rough pregnancy. All you sisters that had babies having this very rough pregnancy with these two sons out of her. She don't have an ultrasound and a hospital hell on, but she knows pregnant, and the children struggled together within her. They fight. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? If the Lord have done this and gave me this babies, why has it happened like this? What the hell is wrong with these sons? And she went to inquire, meaning she went to go and ask a prophet. And the Lord said unto her, the Lord told the prophet, she asked, told her what God said. Two nations, two different people, which is strange, even though they have the same father. The same way that Cain had the same father, this son, two are in thy womb. Two are right now inside, and shall be separated from thy bowels. We want these two to be brothers. And one people shall be stronger than everything. say you got the fast twitch muscles with the sports, you're stronger. Oh, you had to live a rougher life trying to survive. That's why you're stronger than white people. God said one people is stronger than the other. And the elder, meaning the son that comes out first, shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. She had two boys. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment. His name Esau, and took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old, or 60. A score is 23, and 20 is 60. That's how you count your numbers in the Bible. And the boys grew. They growing up. Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. Cain was also a man of the field. He slew Abel in the field. These are context clues or precepts so that you know that Esau is Cain being reincarnated. Except time when he's born back into the earth. This is after the flood. God has a purpose for the same way he has a purpose for Jacob, which we get ready to read in Romans, the 9th chapter. Everybody give me a one. Let me know if y'all able to hear this. I don't know break for now. Y'all give me one. Let me know. Everybody make sure the thumbs up. All right. Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. He liked to chill at the crib. You understand? So, of course, we know Esau, the father of Jacob and Esau. Esau sells his birthright because he's a bastard that couldn't give a damn about his father or his birthright, the same way that Cain didn't care about the instructions that the father gave him in the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter, when he murdered his brother. The right son that God wanted to have the blessing ended up with it. So what ended up happening? Cain now wants to kill his brother. Esau wants to now take his brother's life because the father chose and blessed him again because he did not honor his father. The same thing happened with Cain and Abel. The Lord now, just like it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the thing which is past, God requires what you did in your past life. Esau has to pay for the crimes that he did as Cain. He doesn't get the firstborn blessing, and now he's born red and hairy all over the cliffs and the mountains and the caves. This is the history and the spirit of the oppressor. That's why they build skyscrapers and the penthouse and the World Trade Building and the Sears Tower and the Eiffel Tower. He builds a tower every goddamn where. That's his culture. He want to live 1,000 feet in the air, so far away from the ground. That's a spirit. That's his spirit. Now we go into Romans, the 9th chapter. It says Romans chapter 9 and verse 10. Verse 9. And it says, for this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. The son that Sarah and Abraham had was Isaac. The son that Isaac had was, verse 11, for the children not being born yet. Jacob and Esau weren't born, neither having done any good or evil. They didn't do anything because they weren't born yet. That the purpose of God, according to the election, might stand. The Lord had a purpose for two separate nations of people being inside of Rebekah. That's what we just read about. It's not that they did something. God made those two with a purpose, not of works, not of what they did, but of him that calleth. This was God's purpose. And it was said to her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. God loved Jacob. But Esau have I hated. God always hated Esau. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? Is God wrong for hating Esau? God forbid. Hell no. For Moses, for he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. Whoever I want to have mercy on, that's who gets mercy. I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Whoever I want to have compassion on, that's who gets it. If I don't want to have mercy on the other son, then the hell with him. Who gives a damn? What the hell are you going to do to me? I choose who to give mercy to. I choose who not to give mercy to. The water to two of y'all that answered when I said, put a message in there. If you can hear me, if you can see me, nobody else replied. All right. The water sister should call it the water rider. All right. If you replied, your message did not go through. I just want to make sure that y'all can see me. All right. That y'all can still hear me. Just let me know. All right. If you can hear me, let me know. So it says in verse 15, verse 16. So then it's not of him that willeth, it's not your will, nor of him that runneth. It's not the will of them that's doing the work, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, it's very key. This is what's happening to the oppressor right now. Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. The Lord gave Pharaoh his power, that I might show my power in thee, that when I crush and destroy you, when the Lord destroys the so-called white man and America and France and Germany and Italy and Spain and Portugal and all of the wealth and power that they've had throughout the earth, when the Lord destroys them, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Everybody knew the Most High because of the destruction that the God of the children of Israel did to Egypt. And everyone will know the Lord's true reputation again because of the destruction that he is going to do to America and all the governments of our enemies, and Amalek synagogues and armies, and the Roman Catholic Church, and the Pope, and Islam, and Christianity, and Egyptology, and militias, and everything else that we pray for, that the Lord send up these curses, because this is what it says God's will is in the Bible. You understand? So now we're going to skip down to verse 21. It says, have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another to dishonor? Meaning the Lord used the same clay to make it honorable. He made us honorable. He made the children of Israel honorable. Blacks, Latinos, Native American, man, woman, and child. We are the honorable people that the Lord made. And God made the oppressor to be a dishonorable people. You have beautiful porcelain dishes and tea sets and chinas and wonderful plates. And then you take that same porcelain, you can also make a toilet out of that you pee on, that you take a dump on, that you feast and filth and you spread it all in that toilet to be very. He the same porcelain, and he made the oppressor a toilet. At the same time, he made us wonderful, beautiful, and righteous, because that's what the hell he chose to do. Verse 22 says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, he wants to show how powerful and angry he can be on this vessel for dishonor, endured with much long suffering, vessels of wrath, fitted for destruction. He's very long suffering with Esau, and he's letting him build up all his charges, and then he's going to send Christ back to destroy him. And then they're going into slavery until they no longer exist. That's what God said. That's what it's saying in Romans, the 9th chapter. You understand? Why? Verse 23, that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto his glory. Like he'd already set this up for us. That's why he said, I know thy tribulation, and I know these bastards saying that they the Jew and they are lying. Thou art rich, because you are my chosen. And this is the patience of saints. They are going to suffer endlessly and horribly they've done, and they glorified. And in the children of the living God, that the is knowledge. We started out of 1 West 120 from New York. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Rule for brother and sister. Brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves with the world. You understand? Tithes, which is a commandment from the Most High. 10% of any penny of any increase the Most High gives to you. Go right to ISUPK.com. Put it right there. Make sure you pay your tithes. Upcoming high holy days should be in June, the Feast of First Fruits. It should be coming up. Everybody be notified in that time. And lastly, if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, be in all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, war scarf, contact the ISUPK school, whatever city or state that you're in. You understand? All right. And with that, one courtesy salute to the brother. With that, tune in right here, Lashawan Kwadash, every Friday, taught by Officer Mintazah Quran, Officer Yagadar. With that,
hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
beaten to death. Correction officer.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one.
This one West world.
I guess I should ride with Lex.
They talk about man. It's about time, so no curses to our enemies. You can try to run when you're gone, it's your destiny. You gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to wrong, right, get another legacy.
If gotta do the shit, when I do it carefully. You can lose everything you own over jealousy. When I met her, I ain't never sweat her, I just let her breathe. See you down, keep my foot on you, that's not my pedigree. At your throat, I done took her oath, I pray I never leave. I'm a different guy, you're surprised, tucked in my sleeve. Boy, you fucking stupid, soldier seat for some bloody beef. True nation, cut the conversation, better keep it brief.
It's about time, so no curses to our enemies. You can try to run when you're gone, it's your destiny. You gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy.
It's about time, send them curses to them enemies. You can try to run where you going, this your destiny. Fusion gotta fall, never rise. rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy. It's about time, sending curses to them enemies. You can try to run, where you going, this your destiny. Music gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy. They don't wanna know, we tell them, they just won't believe. It's about the journey, I ain't worried, moving at my speed.